everybody out there listening to the podcast. This is Travis with the Broken Battery Pop Culture Podcast, brought to you, as always, by Broken Battery Entertainment. With me is the one, the only, Joseph.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
We are really happy. We're beaming straight out of Casa de Coogan, per usual, whenever I am with Joseph.
Yes, right in the middle of celebrating Day Beers Day.
Yes, if you understand the reference, we're not going to tell you. If you want to seem super smart to us, you can send us a message or email us with the reference we just said about Day Beers Day. I personally have not watched any of the episodes, but I do understand the reference and I know where it's coming from.
And it's the second time you've celebrated it with us, so
it is. It's really strange.
Yeah, it's
it
really
kind of just
weird.
falls that way, doesn't it?
It's like almost just celebrating a holiday that somebody just made up.
And a fictional show. But first off, I want to take a minute and we're going to do Spotlight on Media, where we always look at something in either movies, TV, television, I just said TV, books, video games,
Just
you name it.
Like some type of media?
Yeah,
Format?
yeah, absolutely. And
Okay.
we're gonna just take a look at it. And if you haven't checked it out yet, I read a book and I think it's a really good laugh, and you'd actually make you feel really good about yourself. It's the Darwin Awards. Oh. I think if everybody should read this book, because it basically, I'll give you a quick synopsis. The Darwin Awards are awarded to people that die in the stupidest way possible. They bring it on themselves, and they take themselves out of the gene pool, therefore bettering the human race. They obviously come from the name of Charles Darwin, the guy that developed the theory of evolution.
Oh, like every one of the Jackass movies.
Absolutely, but they won't die. I'm pretty
They
sure
just
they're
don't
like
die.
cyborgs or some shit. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're enjoyable. I can't believe this guy actually snorted fucking wasabi up his nose, because I smell that shit. And I'm 3 feet away. I'm like, oh, I'm donezo. Yeah. Or the poo cocktail or whatever it is. So Joe just mentioned Jackass movies. You can watch those too. Do yourself a favor and read the Darwin Awards. Great book. So Joe, what are we going to be examining today?
All right. Well, we're going to be examining shows that were canceled, which we thought were great shows, after the first season.
After the first season, because there was some pencil neck asshole that's in some network, Fox or Netflix, that just cancels these great shows. I don't know. They always give a bullshit reason, like, oh, the overhead isn't projected, and they throw out a bunch of $12 words, expecting to validate their decision. When I'm like, you guys obviously don't know good writing and good talent when you're looking at it. But
and as you'll find out later on when we do this,
what
inspired this actual episode was a recent event.
A recent event is actually a show.
Yeah.
That I mentioned on the Spotlight in a previous show. So just keep tuned, and we'll tell you all about it. But Joe, you know what? I will defer. You're my most gracious host here today. So why don't you get the ball rolling?
All right. Well, I'm gonna get my ball rolling here. Probably one of the most renowned shows that was canceled after one season. And I'm going to go with Firefly.
Oh, yeah. You can't.
We're going to start from the very top. And Firefly was absolutely amazing.
It was.
Yeah.
But Fox really, really neutered this show.
Yeah. Well, I just have a problem that, Fox debuts a whole bunch of stuff, and then they cancel it after one season. I believe that they even did this to Arrested Development, and then fan outrage made it come back.
Yeah, it did. They weren't going to go forward with the second season.
Yeah. I mean, and they constantly do it, and then other networks pick it up. But yeah, no, Firefly was just.
The great thing about Firefly was it had the science fiction aspect, and it also had the cowboy aspect. I've never been big into westerns. My dad had me watch cowboy movies and stuff with him, and a couple of them are pretty freaking cool, like The Outlaw Josie Wales.
Yes,
love that movie. But Firefly just blended it really well, and it introduced you to Nathan Fillion, who by far is one of the best fucking actors out there.
Yeah.
The guy, he's charismatic, and he deserves to get more work than he gets.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like the whole cast, and this show, people still bitch about this show being canceled prematurely. And you know what? I'm putting the blame squarely in the hands of the network on this one, because they
didn't give it a chance.
No, well, first off, they didn't air the episodes in order, because there was an arc, and they put it in the death time zone of Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night's not a good night for shows.
No, Friday night or Saturdays are awful.
You need like a Tuesday or a Thursday for people to give it the 3-episode try. That's what I do.
Yeah,
when something comes out, I'm gonna be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to watch it for 3 episodes. If I don't like it after the 3rd episode, I'm probably not going to watch it again.
Yeah. So, Fox, shame on you. I mean, you're the same people that canceled Family Guy after a 3rd season, and look what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, picked up.
You got picked up. I mean, I
think it's 17 years now?
17 years.
Well,
the funny thing, I mean, we couldn't put Family Guy on the list because it had more than one season with Fox. But, don't get me wrong. I like the first 3 seasons more than any of the newer stuff that they've done, because it was just fucking hilarious. But Firefly, I mean, it was so good that they made a movie about it. It was Serenity. It was a follow-up because it had all these unanswered questions, except for who the fuck was the priest? Who was that priest? They didn't explain shit, and you don't hear anything about it. And all right, I'm getting flustered.
Yep,
I'm getting flustered.
It's all right. It's all right.
Okay.
But, all right. So who you got up next, Trev?
Next, I'm gonna go with Freaks and Geeks.
Freaks and Geeks.
Freaks and Geeks was a great show, and it actually introduced a lot of people that I like, and one guy that I don't.
Oh, Seth Rogen.
I hate Seth Rogen.
$5 Franco.
And $5 Franco. Peas in a pod, but it also introduced me to Jason Marshall Segal.
Yes.
As we mentioned, and How I Met Your Mother, which is an amazing TV show. He went on to do all kinds of stuff that I like. Jason Segal's awesome. Wasn't Paul Rudd on the show too? No, I don't think he was.
Which one?
Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah, I think that Paul Rudd was on the show.
Oh, okay.
Briefly,
and I know the Mitch from Waiting was on there because
yes.
Waiting's a great movie.
Yes.
I just like to plug that movie. It's one of my
Absolutely. At one time, my wife thought it was a good idea to show it to my preteen daughters.
Oh,
yeah,
with the penis showing game.
Yeah. No, she was like, I don't remember it being that bad. I was like, I do.
Spoiler. I mean, let's keep completely honest. I'm going to give her a credit on this one, Joe. I mean, there did show no penises, but they showed a hairy ass bush.
With Klingons.
With Klingons. Well, Freaks and Geeks, I mean, it had great comedy. It flowed really well, and I don't know, I kind of feel like it was like a biopic about my experience in fucking high school.
I got another one, and this might be, I don't know, my office showing, but Backstrom.
Isn't that the one? Isn't it a procedural cop show?
Yeah, it was just, it was Rainn Wilson doing, being Dwight without being Dwight. But the character that Dwight always wanted to be in The Office, and I thought it was great.
Yeah.
An important detective. It started in January of 2015.
Yeah.
And it was summarily canceled. And I don't even think that I saw actually every episode that was made of it, because I don't even think that they filmed it.
No?
No, I don't. Not that they didn't film it. They didn't broadcast it.
Well,
so.
Yeah, you kind of just think about it hey, we're going to do all this money into here, and we're just not going to broadcast. We're just going to just kind of shit all over it. Why?
No, with a bunch of the stuff that's going on in this category, you're going to come up with much of this is all been done by Fox.
Right. Yeah. This one I'm about to mention is starring one of my all-time favorite character actors. Well, I wouldn't say he's a character actor, but it's The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr.
Oh.
starring the Bruce Campbell of Evil Dead fame, Ash.
Yes.
It's ironically, it's another cowboy theme to it, but it had a amazing like setup. I mean, I don't know, you've watched it, right, Joe?
Yeah, I did watch it. I liked it. I love westerns.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I mean, this Western had sci-fi elements to it. Like there were people that were actually going back in time in this, and like they found an artifact from the future, and I'm like, this is so well written, and it was enjoyable, and like again, it's like I said like a minute ago with somebody not getting too much exposure, like Nathan Fillion. Bruce Campbell didn't get really enough of it either because he was always part of these projects that were like. I'm pretty sure they read it. He was like, "Oh, this is badass," but she had some fucking pencil neck being like, "Oh, I don't know."
I mean, once again, Fox being Fox,
yeah,
taking care of business. I mean, they just ruined so much binge watching for our children.
right.
I mean, because Briscoe County Jr. I mean, it was good. It had a decent story.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. I really like westerns.
And Bruce Campbell does no wrong.
Yeah, no, yeah, he really can.
I mean, I watched Burn Notice because he was in it.
Yeah.
I didn't give a shit about Michael Wesser, whatever the main character's name was. I cared about Sam.
I didn't watch that show.
No, you didn't.
No.
It was on USA, and it's like Bruce
Yeah.
Campbell co-starring. I'm like, what?
I mean, almost USA is just a kiss of death.
Yeah.
With the exception of Mr. Robot, but that's another thing.
Oh, Mr.
That's
Robot.
another story.
Well, we can't count Mr. Robot on this either because it went more than one season.
I believe 5. So
Was it 5?
yeah, I think it's 5 or 4.
Yeah, but great show.
Yes.
If you haven't seen it, watch it.
Yep.
It's another good one is Limitless.
Limitless.
Oh yeah,
That was based on that movie.
Yeah, based on a movie starring what's his face, Bradley Cooper.
Yes.
And about this drug that makes you super smart. So
He just takes it and he's limitless.
he's limit. So it's not just a clever name. Yeah, but it was a good. I'm usually really reluctant about them taking a movie and making a TV show out of it, or vice versa.
Yes.
But this one was done well.
Yeah.
And I mean, like they expanded upon concepts and things like that.
The one thing that they didn't expand on is the fact that Bradley Cooper was not in it.
No, they didn't. Well, I mean, they're like, well, can we pay him $2 million an episode?
Well, I mean, I think that was the problem with the whole show. Because, Bradley Cooper, seriously, smash.
And what's another one? Like, there's a bunch on here, Joe, that I have. They did Constantine. Being a comic book nerd, all right?
Yes.
Again,
As we are.
I don't know if this was Fox or NBC. I think it was NBC's fault this time. They did Constantine. They starring Matt Ryan, and it did so well. He did so well at this character. It transitioned to the CW. His character did.
Yes.
They picked him up and put him into Legends of Tomorrow, and I'm really sorry they got thrown on that show because Legends of Tomorrow is kind of bad, and I'm a comic book fan too. Yeah. But no, Constantine, I saw that when I bought the short, ill-fated DC Universe app. I watched that. I binged it. I didn't watch it while it was on. Want to know why? Because I never fucking knew about it.
Yeah.
But I would suggest everybody take a look at that because if you like the Hellblazer comic books, they did it justice. Decent. And he was actually wasn't like Constantine, like the Keanu Reeves movie, which was just all right. I like Keanu Reeves, but that movie was hot garbage because it was just like
it was fan service.
It was fan service, but he wasn't British. He wasn't blind. He wasn't anything like that. It's like whoa.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of things that Keanu Reeves does where it's just like, oh my god, it's Bill.
No, it was Ted.
Oh, he's Ted.
No, wait, was it? I think it might have been Bill. No, Bill.
Yeah,
Bill.
No,
Bill.
He's Ted. All right, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
The one I got up next, which is another victim of the Fox sitcom killing syndrome, would be The Tick.
Oh God.
With Patrick Warburton.
Well, then they turned around and did the same thing on Amazon after 2 seasons, but I'm talking about The Tick on Fox. Exactly. Yep. That movie was the TV show was awesome. They had Ben Enlund writing for it.
Yes.
And Ben Enlund, he wrote the comic. He's wrote a lot of good stuff and shows. And the thing is you know when he writes it because it's funny and it's insightful. Like there was an episode of Supernatural that Ben Edlund wrote.
Yep.
It was the Wishing Well episode.
Yes.
Where like they threw,
everybody did the wishing thing,
and they got their wishes, and it always was bad.
Yeah, and the one little kid was like, what was his name? Like Supermax. And
yeah, no,
he was able
no,
to,
Todd. No, Neil, Todd. It was Todd.
Super Todd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dean tried to give him
Did such a good
the great with great power comes great responsibility thing, and he beats the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Neil.
Neil before Todd. So good.
But yeah, like you can always tell when he does that stuff, and he has his hand in it because that's his character, he has his creation, and it's so good. I love the Tick. It was so good, and you know what? I'm gonna give a poo toward Amazon on this one too because they canceled after just 2 seasons, and everybody I know watched that show on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, no,
also.
it was decent.
It was super decent. There is a Fox show as well that I don't think you watched the Joe because we discussed it. It was called The Passage. Oh man, that show, I watched it religiously, starring Zach Morris himself, Paul Gosler.
Zach Morris,
Zach-
Paul Gossler. I think
Paul Gosler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he was a special agent, whatever it is. They bring into this subject, and it was all about fucking vampires. Government researching a vampire they found in like Bogota or like South America somewhere that bit a researcher, and they took that researcher and they put him in this enclosure, and they kept on like pulling all these death row inmates in and having them sign undesirables and saying, hey, you know what, we won't kill you, but we want to experiment on you. Are you okay with that? And then they all became fucking vampires, and oh man, it was good. It was very good.
Is that available anywhere that I can watch nowadays?
I think it might be on Netflix, but I know it's going to be on Amazon, but you might have to pay for it.
Okay.
Definitely take a view at it. It was good. The first season was really great. I was super happy. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be so good. Yeah. And then, not renewed.
Yeah. Well,
Fox, eat a dick.
Yeah. I mean, they keep on doing it. Well, I got another one. You might not know it. You might know it. Alien Nation.
That's the one where they drank the spoiled milk and they thought it was delicious, right?
Yeah. They love spoiled milk, and
yeah.
they had the little spots on their heads, and they weren't.
It was a social satire thing about immigration, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
But no, I remember it, and it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I know they had some TV movies after that.
Well, no. It came from a 1988 movie.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, the same. It was called Alien Nation.
Was it like a TV movie or was it like in the theaters?
No, it was in the theaters.
Oh, no shit.
Alien Nation was in the theaters, and then they came out with a TV show, and I mean, it wasn't bad. It was completely watchable, but I'm not seeing it right here, but I think it was Fox that killed it.
Yeah, no shit.
So, I mean, we're going to keep seeing that as it goes on and on, that Fox gets a bunch of great intellectual properties.
It's almost like we don't want you to have this.
Right.
We're going to do this, but we change our mind.
We make it, and then you can't have it.
And one thing Fox didn't do, like I mentioned, I had the DC Universe app, was another great show, but it was an original one, was Swamp Thing.
Yes.
Swamp Thing was sick.
I
was so good.
I didn't know if I was going to get to it before you got to it, but
God, it was so good.
I watched a bunch of episodes of it. I have HBO Max, so I can go back and watch it. But I watched the first 3 episodes. I thought it was great.
Right.
I have not completed it, but I cannot understand why they did not continue with it.
No, I understand why, because they didn't have, like, it's had to do something with about money, like filming in certain areas, and they blew their wad on the production, and like a bunch of the producers pulled out, I think. But I mean, dude, there's a lot. Like, believe it or not, like doing this research on this list, I can't get over how many old shows that I know that have like staying power that people talk about now, but they only had like 1 fucking season.
Yeah.
Like stuff before my time, like Kolchak, the Night Stalker. Like he was that reporter it was like Supernatural before Supernatural, but he was a reporter and he wrote about all this really weird shit.
Right.
Right, and like Erie, Indiana.
Yes, yes. That was an NBC victim.
NBC victim, right? I don't. Hopefully, I'm not taking away too many from your list, Joe.
No.
But we just got to gloss through this because I remember watching Erie, Indiana when I was really little, and it was like,
Yeah.
what was it? The tagline was, "It's the strangest place in the entire world, all located in one town." And
Right.
I'm like, yeah, that's fucking
You're
weird,
like,
man.
I'm gonna watch that shit.
Yeah, and I'm gonna watch that shit, and I did. Remember the one where the kid had the braces, and he had like the braces were so big it was picking up animal transmissions, and the dogs were talking to each other, and he found out the dogs were planning some kind of a revolt, and he tried warning everybody. Good times, folks, with great shows that only lasted one fucking season. You ever seen the Naked Gun movies?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I absolutely love the Naked Gun.
Yeah.
Police Squad.
Police Squad. It's based off Police Squad.
I believe that back in the day, before the first Naked Gun came out, on MTV they were showing Police Squad.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was, it was funny.
Yeah.
I think that the movies are funnier.
Well, they can get away with more.
Yeah. But I mean, like,
Well, the fact that OJ's in them.
yeah, right, for sure. I must kill the queen.
Kill the queen.
But yeah, no, I mean that was great. Like, when you see Naked Gun, you see the beginning of it with the big gumball police siren on it. And they did the same thing. They did the same thing for the beginning of Naked Gun.
I mean, yeah, Police Squad. They did all kinds of funny things, like when they were doing the credits. Everybody that was doing it, the guys would always stop what they're doing, pull their gun out, get into it, like start shooting at something. Like you can watch all of the Police Squad episodes on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Score.
For sure.
Faux show.
What do you got up next, Trav?
Oh, next up, they actually brought back the Muppets.
Yes.
And yeah, I liked it actually because it was like a talk show that they had, and I liked it a lot actually. I mean, I've always been a big Muppets fan. I've loved the Muppets since I was little.
I love them.
I love them.
Sesame Street.
Yeah, and they did a good job. Like it was smart writing on this show, and I don't know why it got canceled. I think it was on ABC, and I hear a lot of bullshit like, oh, it just didn't get the viewers. I'm like, it doesn't look like it lost out on viewership. I'm like, how about you give stuff more than one season, maybe see how those returns pan out. But like, I watched it, all kinds of people watched it, but does it fall back to the whole concept of, is it bingeable now? Is it bingeable?
Probably not.
Yeah, but I mean, but the great thing about shows is it keeps you enthralled until then. There's just a plethora of things that got, shut down, but when they were starting to catch their stride, like there was this one called American Gothic that was produced by Sam Raimi. It's such a mind fuck. I really don't want to talk much about it because I want people to enjoy it.
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't see it.
No, it's good stuff.
I'm probably going to have to watch it now that you recommend it.
Oh yeah, thank you. And there's actually an animated show, Joe, that's on here that I really liked, and they canceled it because cartoons. We really didn't include cartoons on this list because a lot of cartoons only last 1 or 2 seasons. Like they only last like a season,
right?
Unless they're like works of art, like Batman the Animated Series.
Well, I mean that only went 3.
I know, but they did Batman Adventures, and it was a continuation.
And that only went 2.
But then there was 5 altogether. They went to Justice League.
Yeah, well, okay.
Same
but,
character.
I mean, I'm just saying, like they revamped it.
Stick with it.
Yeah, try to stick with stuff.
There was Wolverine and the X-Men.
Very good.
Great freaking cartoon. Great show.
I actually even put Wolvie in his original brown costume.
They did. I mean, we started off in the yellow one, which I've always not been a fan of that one.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah, so I'm good. No, honestly, Wolverine and the X-Men. If you're a fan of Marvel, if you're a fan of the X-Men comic books, you name it, watch it.
I think people were mad because Cyclops wasn't in charge.
Well, explain why.
I mean, let's just put it this way. Charles Xavier is always in charge. It's just who's leading in the team.
Yeah, just on the field, right?
Yes.
Let's face it. Okay, there's two constants, all right? Yeah. Cyclops is always a kiss ass. Well, not really. I mean, but he's always a field leader. Charles Xavier is always in charge, and he's kind of a dick.
Yep. And then Wolverine's always just like, maybe we could do it a better, smarter way.
Yeah.
But don't talk to me because I'm just a dumb Canadian guy.
Yeah, don't mind me. I got stabby things that pop out of my hands.
Right.
And I'm on every fucking superhero team ever, and somehow I don't have a busy schedule.
And I can't die.
And I can't die.
Well, you know, he can and he can't.
Yeah, well, we can actually go into this in a future episode, which I think we might. I think we might be like, how can we kill Wolverine?
Yes.
But if you
Or
got some,
how awesome Wolverine is that he can't die.
yeah, and if you got some ideas yourself about that topic, write into the show. Send us an email, put a comment in the message boards. Well, we read everything sent to us.
Well, I got another one for you, Trav.
Sure.
And I really, really, really enjoyed this. I actually watched this not when it came out, but during the pandemic.
Oh,
And that would be Watchmen
Watchmen.
on HBO. And as much as I was basically not a fan of the actual Watchmen comic book,
Yeah.
I was a fan of the Watchmen movie. And I was an even bigger fan of the Watchmen series. And it's been canceled. I don't know why. It could have gotten better. I mean, there was some closure, so it's not like anything's left unexplained.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you right now, the soundtrack was done by Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails.
Oh, well, there you go.
And I thought it was excellent at every point. I thought it really, during the time that I watched it, it paralleled what was happening in society with the police and the police not being able to protect themselves. And it was just absolutely amazing. And I do not know why this show has not been renewed again.
I think some people bitched.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why. It was, it was set 34 years after the events of the Watchmen.
In an alternate 1985.
Yeah, I mean, it was just great. I mean,
Absolutely.
It had Don Johnson in it.
Don Johnson.
Regina King was in it. She was absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a very well done show, and I cannot believe that it is not going to get a second chance for a second season.
Joe, there's two things on here that are older shows, okay? One I saw when I was a little tiny tyke, small little kid, and the other one was...
You were never small.
I actually came out full grown. And the other one was before my time in the 70s, and these are both one-season shows that I did not expect. Now, I knew the one show wasn't, because I was very upset about it. The one that I was upset about when I was a kid was the original Flash.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked forward to that every fucking week. Oh, I was so excited to watch it because I loved comic books back then and superheroes. I understand why that one to get renewed, because at the time, the cost to make that show was just expensive as hell. And CBS had... Well, I had tons of money, but they were going to cut corner.
Probably because they got burned by Marvel, so they didn't want to. They didn't want to keep going when they did the Hulk, Thor.
Oh, those TV movies!
Yeah,
oh God!
yeah,
it's a rock troll, Blake. Help me! Oh God! Lou Ferrigno. We're gonna paint him green.
Let's paint this guy green.
His green, and have him die in his final one by falling out of a plane. Obviously, you motherfuckers have never read a Hulk comic. Guy can take a tank round to the face and get back up.
Right, and even Banner, he can just fall out of a plane and just revert to the Hulk.
Exactly. And I remember Banner being as bitchy as Bill Bixby was in those shows, but whatever.
Don't speak ill of the dead.
No, Bill Bixby, you were a great actor, and we respect you, sir. The show that kind of surprised me was Battlestar Galactica. One season.
One season.
One season.
Are you talking the original?
The original.
Oh, well, they did the one season,
The ones that they came out in 1985.
and then they did 1985,
yes, but they
where the kids went down to the thing and they had superpowers and then they played baseball.
Yeah, they play baseball.
Yeah.
And they
Lauren Green,
Yeah.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Yeah.
But I mean, I really like that. I thought it was good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as far as for a first season, I think it went like 21 or 24 episodes.
Yeah, but it was one season.
Yeah, it was one season, but it didn't explain anything. And then
No, there's no closure.
they were essentially like looking for
Earth.
Well, they were looking for Earth because that was the 13th colony, right?
Yeah, it was the 13th colony where they lost contact with it long ago. And I thought that, it was before my time. My brother was watching this one day when I was little, and it was obviously reruns. And I was like, this is kind of neat.
Yeah.
And I sat there and watched it with him.
Which is why it got its sci-fi release, and it was actually pretty good.
Oh, yeah, they did the remake. Well,
anything with Edward James Olmos.
Edward James almost. Yeah.
He makes me want to do math.
Almost. Oh. Like Battlestar Galactica, everybody wrote it, and then they came out with 1985.
Yep.
Same thing happened with V when they did that remake of V. And that remake of V was fucking good.
Yes. It didn't have Robert Englund.
Oh, dude. You could add something instantly good. Put Robert Englund in it.
Exactly. Him being like, hey, mousy.
Yeah.
Even dumpster diving for mice.
Yes.
It was so good.
Like they made Max Brooks' Monster Hunter good. And that was just like a sci-fi movie that I saw like off the cuff. And I'm like, Robert Englund's in this. Far out.
Well, I don't know. I want to basically get down to the nitty gritty of the reason why this subject came up.
Oh, we're going to get heavy here, folks.
Well, let's talk about shows that were good, if not great, and they've been canceled.
Yeah.
And this happened this week.
And I actually texted Joe right away about it.
Yep.
I was forlorn.
Yeah. Jupiter's Legacy.
That show, if you haven't watched it, is very, very good. Hence, amazing.
Yes.
Besides the beard, that beard that killed me. Whoever did his fake beard.
Who's that?
Timothy Ophens. Not Timothy Ophens.
No. You keep getting them messed up.
I know.
It's not Timothy Ophens. Josh Duhamel.
Josh Duhamel is older in this. And he's got this beard that looks super fucking fake. But
he's got the...
I'd rather have them do that, like cut corners on that, than the awesome superhero fights that happen in it.
I'm just going to tell you right now. I love this.
Yeah.
I read the comics briefly. I had a little bit of, foreknowledge of the story.
Uh-huh.
And I thought it was a great adaptation. I cannot stress enough how disappointed I am that they discontinued this show. I can only hope that they pick it up on another network.
Yeah, like what they did with The Expanse. Like
Yeah.
I was super bummed that they canceled The Expanse, but then Amazon Prime picked it up. I'm like, okay, Amazon Prime, you might be owned by a Bond villain, but I'm gonna give you some fucking points for this.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
But Jupiter's Legacy. From start to finish. It's Mark Myler.
Mark Myler wrote it.
Yeah.
I found a lot of the stuff Mark Myler has drawn and written and stuff has been good. Like, yeah, you ever seen the movie Kick-Ass?
Love it.
Yeah, Kick-Ass 1 and 2, enjoyed it.
Yep.
Mark Myler.
Yeah. No, he does a great I want to say a great attempt, not a great attempt, but like one shot world building.
Right.
And he explains it. Even Jupiter's Legacy, it just explained it. It was like you're like, oh, where did they get their powers? Great backstory. And I'm really, really, absolutely disappointed that they canceled this show. There were some aspects of this that were like, maybe the fight scenes could have been a little bit better.
I mean, but you can understand why they weren't like
Right.
something in like a multi-million-dollar operation like a movie.
Yes.
But in the same token, like the fight scene that they had with Black Star was fucking brutal.
Yes, absolutely. It was good. I think I might have watched it within 2 days of it premiering.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons that I really like, and maybe this might have been its downfall, is that they released all the episodes at once. They didn't build on it. I mean, maybe Netflix could go back and do like a, Disney Plus sort of thing and not release all the episodes. They do it every week, and then you go and make it a viewing event.
Right. I mean, I think that they should. A lot of things do that. Like they just want your instant gratification. Like there's got to be there's got to be some like build up to this. You got to romance us a little bit. You got to, it's a little foreplay for everybody out there.
Yeah, just like when The Boys came out for the second season.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wait, I gotta wait. Just me being greedy because
Yeah, of course, because you read the comics. Yeah.
Right, but it's just like, maybe there should be some build on it. Jupiter's Legacy would have still been out.
Yeah.
Technically, I think it was like 8 or 9 episodes. So, from its release date, it actually shouldn't even be all out by now.
No, it would probably be like, what, episode 5 or 6 right now?
Something like that. Yeah, but they just released it too soon. But, I don't know. Maybe in Netflix infinite wisdom, they have a reason behind this.
Oh no, they don't. They don't because they do shit like they cancel shows like Altered Carbon. Now this is another show that I couldn't really include on the list because it went more than one season. But Altered Carbon is probably one of the best science fiction shows I've seen in a long time.
I did not watch it. Just because it's on that streaming service, I just
Netflix.
I'll eventually get to it. I had so much stuff going on.
Get around to it, man.
Supernatural was still showing. There's
but I heard that they wanted to cancel Supernatural after one season. Also, I heard rumors about that.
It was a good thing that they didn't because it went 14 seasons.
Yeah, well, my God, they took a gamble, and they went forward with it, but. Whatever, they're all fucking morons. But no, like Jupiter's Legacy, I think what the biggest kick in the nuts with that is like, oh, we're gonna release Super Crooks, which is part of that world, and I'm like, no, man, no. Okay, I want you to continue with this story. I'm vested.
Yeah, they spoiler alert, they left the whole thing hanging.
Fuck yeah, they did.
You don't know what's going on with Chloe. You don't know what's going on with the brother.
I didn't care much for Chloe, but I'm pretty sure you weren't supposed to.
I did.
Yeah.
You're
more forgiving.
I cared and I didn't care. But I'm just going to tell you right now, it's just like, there's the father-son aspect of it. And he's like, I don't know whether my dad could kill somebody to save my life.
Right.
And then when it all comes down to it, and he's just like, when it comes down to it, once again, spoiler alert, the brother's like, I'm taking everything down, basically.
Right.
And it's just like, I have no closure, Trav.
We need closure. I think going back to what we talked about, like, we like reasons, okay? We like reasons behind stuff, and we like closure. We like any good narrative. We like a beginning, a middle, and an ending to stuff. These fucking assholes, and I'm only talking to assholes because I'm coming from a place of frustration right now, like a lot of people, that you just cancel shit. You don't tell them like, yeah, we're probably not going to renew you. We're just going to cancel it and leave it fucking hanging. The best comic book adaptations that actually looks at superheroes as people. It looks at the superheroes as people. It did the same thing in the animated show Invincible did, where you took a Superman-esque person,
yes,
and put so you didn't have the stigma of Superman that everybody loves, time honored since 1938. You have a brand new character like the Utopian, right. and he has a son, and it's all about his son trying to live up to that mantle, and like all the pressures on him. Okay, yeah, okay, cool,
Right.
awesome.
I think it's great.
No, amazing, great stuff, and like, and everybody's fleshed out.
And you know what? I mean, if you really go back on it right now, I think that if we waited a little bit of time, I think that the Superman and Lois show that's currently out is probably going to be a one season
and
wonder.
done. And you know what? That has everything to do with those assholes at the CW taking the show down because it was gaining big traction.
Not as bad as those assholes at Fox.
Not as bad. Like, they took the Superman and Lois show down, and they threw Supergirl in that time slot. Nobody watches Supergirl anymore because Super Woke Girl's more like it. I'm sorry, they just keep putting all this garbage political shit in there. Stay out of my fantasy, okay? Stay out of my fantasy with this stuff.
Why can't you just fight like the Parasite?
Right. Fight like the Parasite.
I mean, just fight somebody.
Yeah.
Just like it doesn't like the world's already way too political.
Yeah.
Like, I would like to just watch a show, shut off, and not have to worry about a political view being shoved in my face.
Exactly, and that's what Supergirl's really known for. And then, you know, they shoved Supergirl in there, and guess what? The time slot tanked in ratings.
Yes.
And then, you know, they're going to bring Superman and Lois back in. Hopefully it goes back up, and hopefully it's good.
It's an all right show. I just want to say, like, you know, like, usually when I watch it,
Stuff's going on.
I got stuff going on. It's not keeping my interest. It's
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry.
I want to like it for what it is.
But you feel like it's slipping a little bit.
I do.
Okay.
I do. And I feel like they've introduced different dimensions based on, you know, things that they built on Flash and and Arrow and everything else like that with the multiverse.
Well, I think they're using it as a crutch now too, though, Joe, because they're like, well, is this in the same world as the Flash? No, this is part of the multiverse. I'm like, yeah, everything's part of the multiverse now, assholes. Okay,
Right.
come on.
Right. But I do like the fact that Superman showed up. He had the tights.
Yeah.
So we got the flights, which was the rule behind Supernatural, or not Supernatural,
Smallville. No tights, no flights.
No tights, no flights. And I'm digging it, but at the same time,
you're scared.
I'm not digging the kid aspect.
Oh yeah, the one son's in. I'm depressed. I gotta go see a therapist.
Well, I mean, the one's depressed, the other one's not depressed, and then the one gets powers, and now the other one's depressed that wasn't depressed. And the other one's happy that he has powers, and it just completely flip flopped.
Here's the deal.
Now, me being the father of 2 teenage daughters,
Yeah.
I find this aspect of the show completely exhausting.
Well, you know, looking at it though, also, is people want to watch superhero shows. They don't want to watch, I don't know,
Regular people problems.
regular people problems, or they're like, oh, well, I'm just thinking about my feelings. Yeah, we get it. All right, I like Jupiter's Legacy because it took you out of that box right there.
I didn't see anything about, like, there were some feelings that came up in Jupiter's
because
Legacy.
of the sun. I mean, we get it.
Yeah. But, I mean, they were validated feelings.
But nobody seemed bitchy.
No.
Well, except for the daughter, Chloe.
I mean, but it seemed like she was having a pretty good time.
yeah. Whatever this is, I'm gonna snort it.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't even have to be a drug. She was just doing it.
Yeah, she's like, I really don't know what this is, but you know what? I'm fucking invulnerable. Let's give it a whirl. Yep. Let's do this.
I was like, fucking party time. Excellent. Let's go.
The only gripe I had about Jupiter's Legacy, okay, was halfway watching it, I was like, oh, good. The brother isn't like trying to do a coup or trying to usurp his brother or screw him over or do it his way. I'm like, okay, they push through their shit and they're okay. And then at the last fucking episode,
yeah, man,
they did the cliche bullshit. look, I no, it's still good storytelling. I'm not bashing it all the way. I'm just saying, look, man, I understand it's hard to come up with new stuff, but I shouldn't be able to see it from a mile away. Like, you actually fooled me into thinking like this wasn't going to be the case. But then, like, that last episode, I'm like, oh no,
Yeah, no, they did it.
they did it.
Yeah, but which leads me to my next thing. I have no closure.
No
This is done.
closure.
This is done. There's nothing else I can see for this unless it gets picked up by another network, and it's going to drive me crazy.
This is a fact. It's going to drive us both crazy. I might even go back and rewatch this season because it was done so well. And again, everybody out there, if you have not seen this, I'm sorry, have not saw this, please do so. Write a letter, send an email, because this show is pretty damn good. And the problem is, we keep putting up with it. Everybody keeps putting up with this shit. You know, get out there, send some stuff in, get it revamped, get it sent out to something. Because that's what happened, like I said a few moments ago, with The Expanse. People wrote in. They were like, why the hell? Okay, first off, you know, it's another really bad channel is Sci-Fi. They like to fuck everybody over, too, and they cancel the good
Absolutely.
stuff. But then they turn around and then they're like, we got it. We got it. We Amazon's here to save the day. Super Bezos. Or Dr. Bezos from James Bond. But yeah, that's that was the genesis of why we were talking about these single season one and done bullshit things happening to great media. So how about this? All you guys listening, you might be listening, we might not be, but pull your head out of your asses and actually, you know, give something a chance instead of saying like, well, okay, let's just do another procedural cop show instead of having this original idea go out there with people that obviously care about it. Because you can tell the people that write these shows care about what they're doing.
I mean, even the people that are starring in them even care. Like Josh Duhamel just basically put out a tweet saying like, you know, like he's got his summer Santa body on and he's looking for Hulu to pick up the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I think that might be a great idea.
Absolutely. And guess what? They'd probably release it once a week.
Maybe.
And I would be on board with that.
Yeah. I definitely would. You just can't, you know, you can't blow your wad all at once.
Don't piss on our back and tell me it's raining. Don't say it's ratings and shit like that. No, it's I disagree.
There's no build up. There's no expectation. They just They just release it and then they kill it.
There's no foreplay, and there sure as hell is no
Afterglow.
I was gonna say money shot. Well, anyway, hey, we want to thank everybody out there for listening to the Broken Battery Pop Culture Podcast, brought to you as always by Broken Battery Entertainment.
Hey, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The website will be up shortly. And we want to thank you once more and again. And we will talk to you soon.